Yo, yo, yo. One, two, 1, 2. Right. If you can hear the birds outside, it is because I've got the window open. It's actually hot in the UK. Well, ish. Ish. And now there's some twat mowing the lawn. What a surprise. Huh? Does anyone know that in the UK? You cannot sit outside in the UK in your garden without someone mowing the fucking lawn. That's just what happens. Let me shut the window. Every time. Every single time. Do, 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 do. Now, today, apologies if you think it is a clickbait thumbnail, but I just wanted to emphasize the point in what you can do in crypto rather than the two kind of options you've got. Well, the one option you've got with your crypto is to obviously do nothing, but this is why you should not do nothing with your crypto. 100 grand in alts bought in 2021 is worth under 3K today. 5 years of holding for nothing. You know the lesson. How many of these coins do you recognize? And how many of these are people still DCing into? Right? People message me about these coins and, you know, let me have a look at this coin. And these are the exact charts that I talk about every video, every stream, in that if you hold your crypto and do absolutely nothing, this is the result of doing that, which is the coin going down, no one makes any money, and you hate crypto. That is just the general consensus. Yeah. And the flip side of that, I suppose, is this. This is one of the main sites in the UK. I don't know if there's any US guys watching this, but this guy here, money saving expert. You know, you can look on here for. He doesn't have a crypto section, by the way, if you're wondering. He's got stuff on saving, and it is still insane to me that you go on here, top savings accounts. Obviously, you've got your ISA, which I cover on videos, but you know, everything's always like 5%, 4%, 5%, 4%, 5%, 4%. Yeah. And that is because you have to go through the intermediary to get that rate, i.e., the bank. Now, obviously, the step up from fiat cash, you know, the Great British Pound, and earning these fantastic rates is you do it in your crypto. So if I was to go on Google and I was to Google's Coinbase, then you can go to these and earn. But depending on what you've got, you know, you're just doing the equivalent of someone that is going to a bank for the Great British Pounds, the US dollar, blah, 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 which is basically go to them, lock up your crypto, just like you're locking up your cash, and you get an ROI back, which, let's be honest, is shit because you've got Ethereum earning under 2%, Solana under 4%, Cardano 1.45. I mean, what's the point? You know, it's just like hodling or holding. And then we've explained that the step up from that is, you know, staking. And if you stake yourself, you're generally staking using what Coinbase are you staking on, what Kraken are staking on, etc. This is the source code of staking. You know, you got 3% on Ethereum on these, Solana 6%. And these are just the platforms or the protocols that your favorite centralized exchange, whether it's Coinbase, Kraken, whatever, use. Yeah. And obviously, I'm going to say if you do use an exchange, use Bitpanda because that's the one I DCA with. My point being that you're not going to get fantastic rates from an exchange or kind of DeFi if you are looking to get your crypto moving in the right direction. Because if this is you, where it's just hold it until oblivion, you're probably pretty pissed off with the way the crypto market is gone. And don't get me wrong, you know, my Bitcoin did well. A few of the coins that I took profits on, I've told you about. Aave, for example, Fetch.ai, Casper. You know, I spoke about them before. So you're probably going to be pissed off that this has happened to you, and that if you're looking what else to do, you know, you've got 4% here, which is shit. You've got 2% here, which is not good. And then obviously, if you source it yourself in DeFi, it is better to go DeFi with your staking because you're in control, your keys, your coins. But the rates generally aren't fantastic. So that is why you look at this and people will immediately jump to, it's a scam. It's a scam because the rates that are available here, you know, monthly rewards, that's probably about 8% a month. So if you think about that overall, that's about 96% a year. If obviously that happens every month. I got 7% last month, and this is just on a basic setup, right? And this is 360 quid off 5k. And you can scale that up, and I've shown this. I put like $1,000 in the thumbnail, but you get what I'm saying. This is 2k. A goal of 2k monthly yield. And the portfolio needed to earn said 2k, obviously half that for 1k. So, you know, if you were earning 8% a month or even 7%, what I got last month, to earn 2k a month, you need about 28k deployed in the particular pools that I'm showing here. The good thing about this is because, and the way it works is, and the rate of the rate's so high is it's DeFi, you are providing liquidity to a pool. When there is swaps and trades that happen between those pairs on said platform, you make a cut of the fees. So for example, these two here, this Ethereum Kita pool is on Uniswap. So what happens is traders will go on Uniswap, and every time they swap between these tokens, ETH to Kita, Kita to ETH, then your man here earns money from it, all based on volume. And then again with Eurodrone, traders will go on Eurodrome and they will swap between, I don't know why this isn't loading, but the same process. What have I got in this? Pardon me. Ethereum and Aave. So when people swap these two pairs here, I get a percentage of the fees for that because this is where my pool is based. And VFAT, which is what I use, is the aggregator of that. And that's how it kind of works, right? That is how you make money. So you are the bank in essence, because obviously the bank just gives money to people. You could argue it just prints out of thin air, but that's another story. But in theory, the bank has money and lends it out to people, whatever. That's how it makes money. You're kind of acting like a bank because you're providing money in a liquidity pool and you're earning fees off it. And it's all decentralized. So it pretty much shows it here. Yeah. You're the liquidity provider. You provide the liquidity to the traders. The fees come back to you. And it's like this on every single decentralized exchange that exists. I put Solana in the thumbnail. And this is Arca. Yeah. Which has a new section, actually. Trump, so I'll stay away from that. Yeah, and it's the same thing with this. You provide liquidity to the pools. You've got a Sol USDC one earning 4.4%. It's a bit easier to show it on how it works and how you set the fees, with Solana, for example. This one's 5% a month with this range, and it's been in range since Feb. So, for example, you want Solana, you're sick of it seeing going sideways, you want to test some pools out, you got this range here, which is actually a 50% range, so you could pull it down, to be fair. 44% range, 5%, 5.5% a month. You put in, whatever Solana you've got. 6K, and you're earning $352 a month. Let's say you have more. Maybe not that much. 20K, let's say you got 21K of Solana. Put it on this range, 44%, and you would earn 1,100 a month in this range. And the interesting thing about this is these percentages have gone up. They were a bit lower actually previously than they were. Because if you think here, you get on a 20% range, you're getting 10% back, 3,400 yield. 10% a month. It is a tight range, that, to be fair. And that is the thing, what happens when people get into liquidity pools at first. They'll get into them and they will set something up, say on here, and they're like, oh my God, it's only earning me 3% this month. And it's like, wait a minute, so it's only earned you 3%. This is offering 3% a year. 4% a year in a whole year. In a whole year with a standard savings account, or even staking. I showed staking before. I mean, that range is probably unrealistic, but still, that's 22K. And if you go over to the staking rewards, you're getting 6%, 5.4%, between 5 and 6% a year to stake it. But then on the pools, you're getting, 5-6% in a month. So, 22K gaining, that's what you gain over a year, you get it in a month. You could literally go in a pool for a month, exit it, and have the same return that you would have leaving it for a year. And it's getting you more Solana, getting you more USDC, you know? That is the aim, to accumulate more crypto. Or, you know, you can spend it. That's the idea, to spend, you know, the crypto. I think it does actually offer staking as well. But I tend to stick to this platform just because I like using base chain. I like keeping it simple. And of course, the assets I like, that I want to just keep accumulating are here. And this just, you know, can go on autopilot, to be honest, and just keep accumulating. Swap some of it to Bitcoin, send directly to my cold wallet. And that is the job, you know? And this is where it kind of comes from with the millionaire fast lane. And I mentioned this before, like, we're going to kind of skip the income side for this video, but it's kind of like, you know, the old model and this timeline is you've got swapping your time for a job into the savings account and then retire. And it's trying to just speed that up, you know. One of them's with a bicycle, one's in the Lambo, and it's trying to speed everything up so that you can buy appreciated assets, enable them to go up faster than they would. You just have to learn what this is. And the beauty of it, you don't have to put in any more than you don't want to. You know, you can put in as little as you want. You can test it with $50, $100, if that's what you want to do. And if mine's on here, here's mine. I think that's mine. Right. 8, 9. Concentrate 200. Yeah, it's the 200 one, I think, mine. But yeah, the idea with not going to Aerodrome directly, not going to Uniswap directly, is that everything can be managed. Your portfolio can be managed on VFAT, so everything is in front of you like that, and you can see your DeFi portfolio that you want to use, and it's up to you what amount you put in, how you want to play it. So this is being played like this, rather than just going directly to Euro or directly to Uniswap. There are ones though that are on here. They're not necessarily on VFAT, I found. So that's a bit lower, 8%. Another thing I would say is just make sure you research anything that you do. I wonder if this works. Can you show all the liquidity pools for the Aave token? Oh, I have to sign up. So you go, you can find some APIs on here. I think that's the one we were looking at. Again, sometimes you have to just look through them because it doesn't show everything. And then the next stage that people do, depending on where you're starting at, is loaning your Bitcoin out. So loaning the Bitcoin out and then gaining some USDC to use in pools, i.e. you've got one Bitcoin, loan it out, get 20 to 30% back in USDC, use it in a pool, generate some fees that are higher than like the 5% it chooses to give you. Yeah. But the main idea is to not get wrecked like this, just holding it. This is the main issue I feel that the guys have, just consistently getting wrecked with holding shit coins. And every time I actually check, this coin, it's always doing worse. Damn. Look at that, 99.4%. And what's crazy is that actually, the all-time low was 2 hours ago. What a sad ending to this coin that I used to hold. But this is what it is. It's one of these. It's a coin that has just died. A sad ending to Multiverse X, which, is it still going? I have no idea. Has it got a website? Here we are. Ecosystem value, 0 billion. So it used to be 8 billion. Market cap now is 100 million. That's crazy. See, tech roadmap, there is no roadmap. Upcoming events, 0. Here we go. Oh, I can't be asked for it. It's just more word salad, but how, how many times does this have to change? This is because the reason it changed from Elrond to Multiverse X was it was going full on into the metaverse, but just didn't happen. Last podcast, 2026, Feb. See, this is it. And there's so many like this. This is why a lot of people just waste the time on getting interested and, buying the t-shirt. Like I was like with Celsius and then just went bust. If you just hold these coins forever, this is just what happens, unfortunately. Unless it's a very specific few coins, I like these, but will I swap them to Bitcoin when I harvest it? Probably, yeah. Or Ethereum. That is the issue. You've got to think of the yield back. That's what it's about. Getting the yield and earning back on your crypto rather than just holding it, doing absolutely nothing and not making any money. And I know this is a rough guide, so you could think, right, I'll be conservative. I've got 50K. If I get 4%, that's roughly 2K a month in liquidity pools. And people say, oh, it's not happening. Well, these are the guys in the group that it's happened for, And this is the thing as well I wanted to show. It's all the compound growth. So if you start with 40K, even if it gets 2.5K, 2.5% a month, after 12 months, you made 13K from that compound interest of the 2.5% monthly yield. And you reinvest it and it compounds. And then, you're earning 1K off 40, 2.5% a month. By month 12, 1,150. If you earn 2.5%. Like I said, I earned 6% last month. And I'm not saying go into these pools, but this one's about 8% a month. But that's based off 2.5%, And if you just look through what is available, whether it's a farm or it's a pool, even like, let's see if we find an ETH-USDC one. See, here we go. ETH-USDC. 119%. You widen the fuck out of that. What's the price of ETH? $1,900. Yes, if you widen even if you widen an ETH on this, (22% width, 56% APR. No, 2.5% times 12 is 30% APR. You could get it to 30, or you could just reduce the range. I mean, that's you're going to earn between 1,600 and 2,400 on that. So if you reduce that even to this, 34% width, 37% APR on Ethereum, USDC, 37%, 37 divided by 12, 3% a month. So with this pool, 3% a month. With this pool, sorry, I wasn't showing it. With this pool, Ethereum USDC, 34% width is getting you 37% APR, which is around 3% a month. And if you go to that, 3% a month, 66k, you're earning 2k a month off that. If you got 33k, you're earning 1k a month off that. It's that simple. You just got to do the maths and extrapolate out the APRs, the APYs, and how it all works. I'll leave you with that anyway. That's it for me today. If you do enjoy my content, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon.